The inhabitants of the town of Woodstock and the county of Grafton in the state of New Hampshire qualified to vote in town and state affairs are hereby notified that the annual town meeting will be held as follows. The first session was held this morning from 10 to 6, and the results will be announced when I get to Article 1. This is the business section of the meeting, starting at 7 o'clock, or something very close to that. We voted this morning to have these particular rules. All cell phones must be silent. It goes for you, people too. Each participant will treat every other participant with respect and courtesy. The moderator will not allow personal or attacks or inappropriate language. If you are speaking, you must stand and identify yourself. Only registered voters may speak and vote. Anyone not a registered voter wishing to address an issue may do so only with the permission of the moderator. You will not be able to vote. The initial presentation of articles will be limited to 10 minutes or thereabouts, I say, and all speakers in the debate will be limited to 3 minutes. That's kind of time to be determined by the moderator. All new speakers who desire to speak will be given a chance to do so before one is given a second opportunity on the same issue. Each article will need a motion and a second in order to discuss it. Only one amendment to a motion will be allowed on the floor at any time. No amendments to amendments will be allowed. Such proposal will be dealt with as subsequent amendments after the first amendment has been voted upon. All amendments will be submitted in writing to the moderator. The subject of the original article must be addressed in the amendment, and it cannot be a negative amendment. We have voting cards for you. I think you all, each one of you, have gotten a voter card. Was that mine?
No, it's mine, but you're welcome to borrow it.
Well, no, I don't know what I did with mine. I'm having a hard day. Motions for reconsideration must be made immediately after the vote is announced on an article. The moderator's rules can be challenged or overruled by a majority of the voters, and some state statutes do govern legal procedures not listed here. And we have the people here tonight to enforce them. So, thank you for being here. Article 1, to choose the town officers. To choose all necessary town offices for the year ensuing: a selectman, a supervisor of the checklist, a fire chief, a library trustee, a trustee of the trust funds, cemetery trustee, 3 budget committee members, 2 planning board members, and 1 floodplain board of adjustments. We held that election, so from 10 to 6, we had 139 voters, and very rarely we had no absentee voters, but that happens in these off-year elections. The selectman race, Scott Rice received 130 votes. Catherine Cordero for supervisor of the checklist received 124 votes. Fire Chief John McKay received 126 votes. All those races I've just announced had at least 1 up to 11 write-ins. Trustee, library trustee for 3 years, Jackie Champy had 131 votes. Kimberly, trustee of the trust funds for 3 years, Kimberly Dunham had 130 votes. Cemetery trustee, 3 years, Clifford Ayotte had 131 votes. The budget committee, Randy Rutherford, received 122 votes. That's for a one-year term. And a budget committee for 3 years has two positions running. Igor Billy and Kara Sellingham. Igor had 27, Kara had 131. And planning board for 3 years, Margaret Labarge and Jerry Mazarindino, each had 111 votes. And floodplain board of adjustment, there are multiple write-ins, and but they only received one vote each, so that's it. So I declare that the ones who had more than one vote have won their specific office. Article 2, E1 rescue truck. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $355,000 for the purchase of a fire department E1 rescue truck and to authorize the withdrawal of $175,000 from the fire truck's capital reserve account created for that purpose. Further, to authorize the issuance of not more than $180,000 of bonds, notes, or lease agreements in accordance with the provision of the Municipal Finance Act, RSA, Chapter 33, and authorize the Select Board to issue and negotiate such bonds, notes, or lease agreements and determine the rate of interest thereon, and further to authorize the Select Board to apply for, accept, and expend federal, state, and other aid, if any, including principal forgiveness, which may become available for this project, and to comply with all laws applicable to such project, and further to authorize the Select Board to take any other vote there relative to. Payments would begin in 2027. The Select Board and the Budget Committee recommend this appropriation. May I hear a motion to accept Article 2 as I've read it? Maureen Palomino, who's here. Okay, you can. Wise things out of my head. Okay. Watson, I know that. But fine. Why I may not do this job any longer. So. Anybody want to speak to this motion? Yes, the chief.
John K. Chief. Trucks are on a 20-year replacement plan, and right now it's not due until 27. But for emergency vehicles, they're out 2 to 3 years to get them. So that is why you're not seeing a payment until 27. We'll get the truck to 27, but we have to bring it 2 years ahead so we get the trucks in this. So that's what the concept is about.
Thank you, John. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none. Article 2 has been made and seconded that we purchase one rescue truck for $255,000 and to authorize the withdrawal of $175,000 that we've already saved and issuance of bonds or other means of finance of $180,000. If you are in favor of that, please show me your voting card. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a ballot vote. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. This is going to be a mess. I didn't read everything, but the polls must remain open for an hour. So,
we're gonna, as we talked, we do open the discussion. And then we'll close the discussion and then we'll go on to the next one and we'll do all 4 ballots at
Yep.
once.
Okay.
So do you want to close the discussion on that and then go on to Article 3?
Okay. That sounds like a good plan. Tell me when to stop. All right, so we will vote in just a moment on that. Article 3, water line replacement, Lower Woodstock, top of North Station Road to just south of South Station Road along the Daniel Webster Highway Route 3. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $1 million for for the replacement of the town water line in Lower Woodstock from the top of North Station Road to just south of the South Station Road along Daniel Webster Highway Route 3, and authorize the withdrawal of $200,000, which we've saved, from the Water Department Capital Reserve account created for that purpose. Further, to authorize the issuance of not more than $800,000 of bonds, notes, or lease agreements in accordance with the provision of the Municipal Finance Act, RSA Chapter 33, and to authorize the Select Board to issue and negotiate such bonds, notes, or lease agreements and to determine the rate of interest thereon, and further to authorize the Select Board to apply for, accept, and expand federal, state, or any other aid. Are you listening, Governor? If any, including principal forgiveness, which may become available for this project, and to comply with all laws applicable to such project, and further to authorize the Select Board to take any other action or to pass any other vote relative thereto. Payments would begin in 2026. The Select Board and Budget Committee recommend this appropriation. May I hear a motion to accept this article? All right, Jerry Mazzarandino, who seconded, Jim Cheesebro. Who would like to speak to this article? Yes, sir.
I just have a question.
Well, stand up, I can't hear
I'm
you.
sorry. I'll try. These three articles. The next one
There
also.
are actually 4 articles. No, 3.
The next three.
Well, okay.
All right.
They're being used by specific people in town, not the whole town, as I
That-
understand it. Is this being replenished by user fees, I assume?
Yes.
That is
Yeah.
I
correct.
wanted to know.
Yeah, Idaho Road is dry and we no longer flush into the river, of course, but you know, the problem we have there. All right, any other questions or comments? Then we'll move on to article, yes? Okay.
Just on that, going to North Station Road, I suggested they look into it, that in 85, 86, when they replaced the 12-inch main, they connected a line, I can't remember if it was 6-inch or 8-inch there, for the heating on, and went across the road, and then down to Potato Hill Road with that main. So down to there, they replaced it with a new main in Navy Park. So I don't know why they're going to North Station Road to start. It's down Potato Hill Road that connects to the old one. So if you're trying to save, 200 feet of pipe and a valve and hydrant and stuff, just look into that. I may be wrong.
I don't know, we got the engineer plan, but we're certainly not gonna replace anything that.
Doesn't need to be, right?
All right. So we'll vote all together for those articles. Article 4, are you busy? Anytime you need to leave, just. let me know.
We're not leaving without giving you a hard time.
Article 4, lead and copper improvements, LCRI. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate a sum of $1 million for the replacement of lead pipes in the drinking water system as mandated by the federal lead and copper rule improvements, and to authorize withdrawal of $50,000 from the Water Department Capital Reserve Fund created for that purpose. Further, to authorize the Select Board to borrow not more than $950,000 from the lead service line SRF program in accordance with the previous provisions of the Municipal Finance Act, RSA Chapter 33, and authorize the Select Board to apply for, accept, and expend any grants. Well, you're going to be busy here this time. Including loan forgiveness available for this purpose, and to further authorize the Select Board to take any other action or to pass any other vote relative thereto. The loan covers service line identification, non-constructive work, such as potholing, staff time, hiring consultant, and replacement of the lead GRR service lines. This is a low interest loan with approximately 70% principal forgiveness. The select board and the budget committee recommend this appropriation. Totals must remain open for an hour, and this particular vote, actually, all three of them, we will need a 60% positive vote for these articles to pass. May I hear a motion to accept Article 4 as I've read it? Say your name, please.
Mark Nelson.
Mark Nelson, second, way back.
Megan Gates?
Megan, any comments from anybody? Hearing none, we will vote this for the other two articles. And is this the last one of these? Or Article 5. CCTV inspection of the sewer main. To see if the town will vote to raise an appropriate sum of $55,000 for a sewer collection assessment through the NHDES Clean Water State Revolving Fund Program. The proposed project is to CCTV inspect approximately 20,000 linear feet of a sewer main and authorize the issuance of not more than $55,000 of bonds, notes, or lease agreements in accordance with the provisions of the Municipal Finance Act, RSA Chapter 33 again, and to authorize the select board to issue and negotiate such bonds, notes, or lease agreements, and to determine the rate of interest thereon, and further to authorize the select board to apply for, accept, and expend federal, state, or any other aid, if any, including principal forgiveness, which may become available for this project, and to comply with all laws applicable to such projects, and further to authorize the select board to take any other action or to pass any other vote relative thereto. This is an NHDES loan with 100% principal forgiveness. The select board and budget committee recommend this appropriation. I hear a motion to accept Article 5 as I've read it. Who is that? Mr. Saverin, Tommy? Seconded by Marty Talbot. Any discussion? Question? Yes, Mr. Young. I've told you twice now to stand up.
I haven't said you.
I know.
Who are we relying on to give us forgiveness?
You'll have to talk to Howard Pyre, the guy who wrote this.
New Hampshire DES. New Hampshire DES.
We've already
Well, it's New
qualified.
Hampshire, it's not federal.
No,
No, and we've already been approved.
we've already been approved. It's just a
We just need you to approve it.
We just need you to-
formality.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion, questions? So looks like the governor's not on hop for too much of it. Yes, Jerry.
Mr. Moderator, I'd like to make a motion
Yes.
to special order, special presentation. We have some dignitaries here that would like to make special motion, presentation tonight. And I would move that we do that now, and we wait until after, so the hour would start. for the other-
I agree completely with you. All right, Lee has seconded. And that we pause in this thing for a little foolishness.
Okay, Ken, foolishness you'll get.
Okay.
Obviously, this was a surprise. I don't know if all of you know that, but Ken opted to keep this a surprise to most of us. So thankfully, the one person who it is not a surprise to, Judy Welch. She's given you a little surprise here tonight, Ken. And what we'd like to do is start with the Honorable Governor Kelly Ayotte. We believe you have something you'd like to do and discuss with.
I told you I wanted to give him a hard time, but Ken is phenomenal. He is right now the longest serving moderator currently serving in the state of New Hampshire. And he's served Woodstock for 50 years. And we want to talk about well, that was well deserved, and I can tell you that when this crossed my desk, I said, you know, and I signed the commendation that I'm gonna read to all of you. As soon as I read it, I said, I gotta meet this guy. I gotta come up to Woodstock. I've gotta be at this town meeting, because anyone who serves for 50 years as a moderator and gives all his time and thinking about the dedication he has to this town, to Woodstock, a beautiful community. You know, that is the true definition of a patriot, of a great citizen. And you want to think about what makes our state great? It's people like Ken Chapman. So let me read a commendation from myself. And this is kind of cool for me because I've only been governor a couple months, so I love this commendation. I need glasses to read it. So honoring Kenneth Chapman on March 11th. And so whereas for 50 years, Kenneth Chapman has served with dedication and integrity as the Woodstock town moderator, ensuring that local elections and town meetings are conducted with fairness, transparency, and accessibility for all residents. And whereas throughout his tenure, Mr. Chapman has been a steadfast champion of democracy, encouraging civic engagement and upholding the electoral process in a manner that reflects the highest standards of public service. And whereas his remarkable longevity in this role places him among the longest serving moderators in New Hampshire's history, a testament to his commitment, leadership, and the trust placed in him by his fellow citizens. And whereas Mr. Chapman has strengthened the democratic traditions of this town and the state of New Hampshire, and whereas his contributions have left an enduring impact on his community, Woodstock, ensuring that future generations of voters and town leaders will benefit from the principles of fairness and civic responsibility that he has upheld. Now therefore I, Kelly Ayotte, Governor of the state of New Hampshire, do hereby commend D. Kenneth Chapman for his extraordinary 5 decades of public service, recognizing his dedication to the democratic process, his community, and to the people of New Hampshire. On behalf of the citizens of New Hampshire, I extend my deepest gratitude for your service to Woodstock and to the state of New Hampshire. Awesome. Well, we have a few other important people here, and you know, the Secretary of State has come, and Representative, State Senator. We've got, you know, this is, you gotta celebrate a moment like this. So.
I thought it was a watch.
I never thought it was a watch, but you know, we did have to balance the state budget.
I'd like to invite the Honorable Secretary of State of the state of New Hampshire, David Scanlon.
So, first of all, let me say that this process that's taking place tonight is really incredible. I mean, this is democracy at its best. It happens at a really local level. And I've been to a number of these over the years. There are fewer and fewer of these really pure democratic participation events. But rarely do I see the moderator go through 5 articles just like he's got the rowdy people that were well under control. All need sleep, but, I've gotten to know Ken over the years, and, you know, it takes a special person to be a moderator. And they get elected for the job because people think the person's honest and they can run a fair meeting, and over time, that's worn out. You know, if the person isn't doing the job right, they don't last very long. And the longer a moderator is in the elected position is kind of a status. I mean, it's, people really have trust and faith in that individual. And for Ken to be in the office for 50 years is a real testament to him and also the community. You've really picked a great person for this role, and Ken has done a fantastic job. Just a personal experience, you know, I think if I was in a position for 50 years, I'd be pretty set in my ways and maybe it would change. But, you know, technology in elections is advancing throughout the state. And when we started piloting some of the new products like ballot counting devices and new tabulators, Ken was one of the ones to say, I want to try that technology and I want to put it to work. I want to see how it goes. And he's been an important player in the process of helping to test those devices. And so I give him a lot of credit of that too. I mean, I have trouble trying to program myself sometimes. I need my kids to, but you know, here Ken is on the cutting edge of this technology. So I also have a commendation to read. Whereas Kenneth Chapman, raised in a suburb of Atlanta, first visited New Hampshire in 1968 on a road trip in a 1964 VW Beetle, converted into a camper. I need to hear that story. Whereas Ken decided to move to the Granite State after riding with a gondola at Loon Mountain, becoming a resident of Woodstock in 1970. And whereas Ken has always strived to be a good resident, serving on community boards, managing several local businesses, and becoming moderator in 1975. And whereas Ken became a national registered paramedic to assist his local volunteer-run ambulance service, which named its new ambulance station after him in 2023. And whereas Ken has also entertained New Hampshire residents as a professional theater actor. Wow. Earning several accolades. You should have read that first. And whereas Ken's volunteerism has been recognized by organizations throughout the state, including the American Red Cross for Saving a Life, and by the New Hampshire Charitable Fund as Volunteer of the Year. And whereas Ken is known around town and the state for his humor, compassion, and love for community service, and whereas as Woodstock moderator for 50 years, Ken has ensured the integrity and success of elections for his fellow Woodstock inhabitants. Now therefore be it resolved, I, David Scanlon, Secretary of State of the state of New Hampshire, do hereby commend and thank Ken for making New Hampshire home and committing his life to the betterment of his community and the Granite State. A skilled and good-humored moderator, Ken is a true New Hampshire treasure and is loved by many.
You're not done yet, Ken. We also, unfortunately, they couldn't be here this evening, but I have letters of appreciation from our senators, Maggie Hassan and Jean Shaheen, and I'd like to read those to you. Dear Mr. Chapman, congratulations on your well-deserved retirement, and thank you for your commitment to your community and 50 years of service as Woodstock's town moderator. New Hampshire does democracy better than any place else, and is only possible through the dedication of great Granite Staters like you. For 50 years, you helped ensure that free and fair elections, which are the foundation of our democracy, were available to generations of residents in Woodstock. For 50 years, you guided the town through countless challenges and changes, engaging with the community and stepping into more roles when needed. For 50 years, you helped make Woodstock what it is today. In addition to being a small business owner with your life partner, Carol Loudon, and serving as town moderator, you have served your community as an EMT, as an incorporator and trustee of the North Country Center for the Arts, as a member of the Lincoln Woodstock Chamber of Commerce, and as a member of the Lincoln Woodstock Cooperative School Board. You exemplify the all-hands-on-deck spirit of the Granite State, where we roll up our sleeves and work together to improve our communities. As you look towards the next chapter, I know that you have served your state well in every role you have had. I and your fellow Granite Staters thank you for your work. Once again, congratulations to your decades-long career. I wish you all the best in your retirement. With every good wish, Maggie Hassan, United States Senator.
Finally, a Democrat.
Here's another one. Here, Ken. I happily join your colleagues and many friends in saluting your incredible 50 years as town moderator. Thank you for your time and dedication to providing this important public service to the town of Woodstock. Town meetings are such an integral part of New England's culture and identity. They are an opportunity to debate issues, discuss community matters, and demand that town government is responsive to local needs and concerns. As town moderator for 5 decades, you brought a sense of civility, patience, and order to Woodstock's meetings. Cited as an election hero by the New Hampshire Secretary of State, you always encouraged active and respectful engagement in community affairs and ensured each resident had a voice in this important public process. Once again, thank you for your many years of service as town moderator and your many contributions to the Lincoln Woodstock community. Sincerely, Jean Shaheen, United States Senator. I'd also like to invite District 2 Executive Counselor Karen Fleot Hill, please.
Hello. No, very nice to meet you. I also am a Democrat. I'm Karen Leo Hill. It's an honor to be here this evening and to participate in this very well-earned appreciation tonight. You have spent so much of your time dedicated to the people of Woodstock. New Hampshire has a long tradition of people serving many years, extended public service careers. Next week, I will be finishing 20 years on the Lebanon City Council, currently the longest serving city councilor in the history of Lebanon. And as the executive counselor, I follow in the footsteps of Ray Burton, who also spent his life dedicated to public service. I also bring regards and congratulations from my friend Sue Prentice, Senator from District 5, not this district, but she sends her regards. I do not have a watch for you, but what I do have for you is this token, this pin, on which is the seal of the state of New Hampshire. And as the executive counselor for our district, I would like to thank you for your time and the love that you have dedicated to the people of Woodstock and to the people of New Hampshire. Thank you so much.
Also here for you, New Hampshire State Senator David Rochford from Senate District 1. So for 50 years, you ran a smooth,
meeting until a bunch of politicians showed up. So, I guess that's what you get, right?
Were you born when I started?
So I was thinking about that. I'm 50 years old. When I was learning to use the toilet, I had training wheels. When I graduated from high school, here you were. So we thank you for your service. I'm not a Democrat, I'm sorry.
I've always declared on registration that I am not affiliated with any party because I felt the job should entail that. And of course, I'm happy with some elections and some I'm not. I mean,
Those for all of us.
You know, it's the people we have in this state and the blend of people. And I always want to know how it happens that in your office and in the House of Representatives, Republicans always have a majority. It's gotten very rare. It's happened only 3 or 4 times, I think, in my time. And but yet we regularly send Democrats to Washington. The governor accepted for that. I just always think that it's like a family, the entire state, and that you may not like what somebody's doing in your family, but it's still family.
Oh, I've got a letter from the Senate, if I could read it to you.
Oh, okay.
All right. Dear Mr. Chapman, it is with great honor and admiration that I, on behalf of the New Hampshire State Senate, extend my heartfelt congratulations on your remarkable milestone. 50 years of dedicated service as moderator for the town of Woodstock. Reaching this extraordinary achievement is a testament to your unwavering commitment to the democratic process, your community, and the principles of fairness and integrity that underpin our free and open government in New Hampshire. Your journey to Woodstock is an inspiring story of dedication and community spirit. I think we've heard that from him already tonight. Born in Gainesville, Florida, and raised in Georgia, you set out on a path that led you through studies in theology and drama, professional theater, and a transformative road trip that ultimately brought you to New Hampshire. That fateful moment when you decided to ride the gondola at Loon Mountain changed the course of your life, leading you to become an integral part of the Woodstock community. Since becoming moderator in 1975 during a pivotal special election, you have presided over town meetings with wisdom, impartiality, ensuring that every voice is heard and every vote is counted. Your leadership has been instrumental in maintaining the integrity of our local government, making democracy accessible and fair for all residents. In addition to your role as moderator, your service as a trustee for Linwood Medical Center for 40 years and as a national registered paramedic further exemplifies your deep commitment to public service. Your decades of service stand as an inspiration to both current and future generations of public servants. The impact of your leadership and commitment to the town of Woodstock will be felt for years to come, and your legacy will undoubtedly serve as a model for those who follow in your footsteps. On behalf of the New Hampshire Senate and all who value the integrity of our democratic institutions, I thank you for your service and congratulate you on this special, exceptional milestone. And on behalf of the Senate, a resolution be it known that the New Hampshire State Senate extends its heartfelt congratulations to Kenneth Chapman in recognition of serving the town of Woodstock as moderator for 50 years, and be it further known that the entire New Hampshire Senate extends its best wishes to you in your promising future. And I also want to send a personal message from Senator Prentice as well. She's a good friend of mine, and she wanted to make sure you heard from her. So thank you very much. I'll tell everybody bye.
Have you got anybody else?
We do.
I wanted to say something before these people leave.
We have one more, and then you can say what you'd like. How's that? All right. Our own homegrown Jerry Stringham, our representative, also has a presentation.
I think the House of Representatives is gonna sit totally on the side on this. So I don't know if you're keeping score, but I'm actually not a member of any organized political party. I'm a Democrat. Where that puts us. But, you know, we have a lot of choices when we decide who to honor. Our choice of heroes really speaks to the highest values that we seek to see in ourselves, in our community, and our children. And we have such a hero with you, and you exhibit the characteristics, as you've done so over the last 50 years, that we appreciate so deeply. Commitment to public service, kindness, competence, fairness, and a great sense of humor to boot. I appreciate that. So it's my pleasure on behalf of the New Hampshire House of Representatives to honor your 50-year of service as Woodstock Town Moderator. I am pleased to provide you with a
Gold watch?
a gold Bring a watch. But no, the New Hampshire State has flown a flag, the New Hampshire flag, over in your honor, commemorating your 50 years as town moderator. Thank you.
We got it. That's
Yeah, but that would be.
Thanks again. Saying this flag was flown over the New Hampshire State House in honor of Kenneth Chapman in recognition of 50 years of dedicated service to the town of Woodstock as moderator on this date, March 11th, 2025.
We're not done yet. County Commissioner Katie Hedberg. Awesome.
For the representing county commissioners, and I have a little proclamation for you. In honor of the dedicated service of D. Kenneth Chapman, whereas on September 16th, 1975, Kenneth Chapman began his distinguished service as moderator for the town of Woodstock, demonstrating an unwavering commitment to the betterment of the community. And whereas in 1983, Mr. Chapman was asked to serve as treasurer and trustee of the Linwood Medical Center, a role he embraced with dedication and a steadfast focus on the health and well-being of his fellow citizens. Whereas Mr. Chapman saw an opportunity to do even more for his community in his role as trustee, and in 1995, he undertook the training to become an emergency medical technician basic, eventually advancing to an EMT intermediate, which is now an advanced EMT 2 years later. And whereas in 2005, it's going to say your age. At the age of 62, after nearly 3 years of schooling and training, Mr. Chapman became a national registered paramedic continuing to serve his community with skill, compassion, and excellence. And whereas Mr. Chapman served as trustee for Linwood Medical Center from 1983 until January 2023, when he was honored with the title of Trustee Emeritus, recognizing his decades of leadership and service. And whereas in April 2023, the new ambulance station was named the D. Kenneth Chapman Ambulance Station, in recognition of its exceptional contributions to the medical and emergency services in our community. And whereas Mr. Chapman was also asked to serve as an incorporator and trustee for the North Country Center for the Arts in 1986, demonstrating his commitment to the cultural enrichment of the community. And whereas Mr. Chapman was a board member of the Lincoln Woodstock Chamber of Commerce and served as its president, further fostering the economic and social growth of the region. And whereas Mr. Chapman served with distinction for 5 years on the Lincoln Woodstock Cooperative School Board, supporting the education and future of the next generation. Now, therefore, we, the Grafton County Commissioners, do hereby recognize and extend our deepest gratitude to D. Kenneth Chapman for his 50 years of unparalleled service, dedication, and leadership. His commitment to his community is a beacon of selflessness and a model of public service. We honor and celebrate his many contributions that have made this town and region a better place to live. Therefore, in witness thereof, we, the Grafton County Board of Commissioners, have set our hands and caused the seal of Grafton County, New Hampshire, to be affixed this 11th day of March 2025. This is from Martha McLeod, Wendy Piper, and myself, Amy. Congratulations.
One more, Judy has told me, and I agree, we'll do a group photo with everybody, but the selectmen in the town of Woodstock would now like to also take presentation.
I hope you have a watch.
And I have a proclamation from the three of us, and I'm sure. A proclamation from the Select Board of Woodstock, New Hampshire, to D. Kenneth Chapman on the occasion of his 50 years of service as a moderator. Whereas D. Kenneth Chapman has been a distinguished member of the town of Woodstock community, dedicated 50 years of unwavering service to the town. Whereas D. Kenneth Chapman was appointed as the moderator of Woodstock in 1975, assuming a position of great leadership, responsibility, community service, and has demonstrated unwavering dedication, diligence, and commitment to ensuring the fair and efficient conduct of every town and the election, always upholding the principles and integrity, transparency, and respect for the democratic process. That's my breath. And whereas
I'm not practicing.
Marty. She's been with me 4 times. Whereas under his leadership of the town of Woodstock has benefited from a moderator who has not only maintained order and transparency, but has fostered a sense of civic engagement and participation, enhancing the strength of the town's democratic process. And whereas D. Kenneth Chapman contributions have extended far beyond their role as moderator, including active participation on numerous boards and committees, the service to the health and welfare of the community as a trustee of Lincoln Medical Center and as a paramedic. And whereas D. Kenneth Chapman influence has extended into the arts, business, and education with a significant involvement in the North Country Center for the Arts, the Kakamaga's Country Store, the Lincoln Woodstock Chamber of Commerce, and the Linwood School Board, among other community endeavors. Whereas his work has not gone unnoticed, as he has received numerous honors, including recognition by the American Red Cross, the New Hampshire Charitable Fund, the New Hampshire Theater Awards, as well as being named the North Country Public Safety Foundation's Emergency
Medical Service Provider of the Year in 2009. And whereas his legacy of service is embodied by his love for community, the dedication to improving the lives of its residents, and an unwavering commitment to the principles of service, leadership, and responsibility. Now, therefore, the Select Board of the Town of Woodstock, New Hampshire, do hereby recognize and celebrate D. Kenneth Chapman for his exceptional 50 years of service as moderator and for the many other contributions to the town of Woodstock and its residents. We honor his dedication, his integrity, and his extraordinary service to the people of Woodstock, and extend our deepest gratitude for decades of leadership. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of the town of Woodstock to be affixed this March 11th, 2025. Sound like we have
So, on behalf of the community, we'd like to present you with this plaque, with a gavel. It says, D. Kenneth Chapman has been a distinguished member of the town of Woodstock community for many years, and for the past 50 years has served as moderator. Appointed in 1975, he assumed a position of great leadership and responsibility. Through his unwavering dedication, diligence, and commitment, he has ensured the fair and effective efficient conduct of every town meeting and election, always upholding the principles of integrity, transparency, and respect for the democratic process. He remains the longest serving elected official in the town's history.
You're done, except for
Wait,
awesome.
wait, I have something. I was gonna save this for later, but since we've already disrupted my meeting, I thought it would be a good time. In the 50 years that I've been here, I have served with the select board, 3 generations of fathers that I know. And now I know 5 generations of fathers with Jimmy's 2 youngest grandchildren there. I have worked with 3 town clerks. And this is where things get interesting. John McKay, our fire chief back there, was serving as town clerk when I started. And she,
His mother.
His mother, excuse me. I knew John's father quite well. And Deanna was a waitress working for me when I managed her lodge. I just told the governor and secretary this story. Barbara Avery and Judy Welch. Town meeting is a community affair, but the 3 town clerks that I've worked under have really been the duck's feet paddling under the water to make things happen. I'm just a figurehead up here, reflecting their hard work. I have been involved in 2 court cases since I've taken this job. Once when I had to sue the moderators. We settled. Selectmen, excuse me. He keeps correcting me. And there's some strange coincidences. I've always been a religious person. I also went to theology school for a while, and then I found out I was in the wrong place. And but on my first trip through here in 1969, I did stop at Moon Mountain. I had gotten lost in Boston, ended up on Route 3, ride the gondola at Moon Mountain, ride the gondola at Moon Mountain. These big billboards existed. And a friend's mother had told me about Moon Mountain and I should stop there. And I said, well, I'm going up the coast of Maine. But since I got lost in Boston, I settled on New Hampshire. The first woman I met who sold me my ticket, where's Cheryl? Oh, Cheryl, right there, black. Okay. Cheryl's grandmother sold me my ticket. Later, as I was coming down after deciding I wanted to ask for a job, I met Rita Rand, Gil's mother. Those were the first two people I met. Also, I worked for Sherman Adams. Republicans would remember that. So, and as a former governor, as well as ending up in the White House. I really like to say, I moved to New Hampshire to find Carol. We had a 48-year time together as it's a non-traditional thing, but she had 4 sons, and I have thought of them as my own. Flowers fade. I feel like I'm fading a little bit. Also, and why I really wanted to, I don't want to leave, but I need somebody here who can think faster, do things faster than I can. But I can't tell you how honored I am and how touched I am by the presence of all of you who are here tonight. So, Carol and Sam and Pete are back here in the thing. But I just wanted to say that since we have a vote coming up, and I'm going to say the polls are open, bring your voting cards. Yes, we can do that, but because I know these folks want to get home from this strange North Country.
I love it.
She's been here before.
Okay.
We all come here for the fad and surf, sorry.
Ken, where would you like them?
So could all presenters please come forward so we can have a photo?
Let's do it right back, like, right here, right behind us. Gonna make Carol.
Yeah, that one.
Let's want to get a picture.
Not that.
So let's send the camera this way a little bit. Try to get it more on this side. The chair, you won't see the chairs. Yeah.
What about Secretary of State?
And let me have,
There we go. That's balance.
Yeah, I'll do 2 quick ones. Alright. 3, 2, 1. And then 1 right here. 3, 2, 1.
You'll get a picture of my plastic one.
Is that one of those Apple ones?
So, and then I put all the camping equipment to have a driver's seat.
I love it. Take care.
All right, it will be helpful, folks, as you're voting to arrange yourself in alphabetical order. And.
On the back of the front?
Huh?
I always go.
Well, we used to have a Zabadowski. But I'm gonna step down here, because the polls have to be open for an hour. The quicker we can get through, you're gonna be given 4 slips of paper. They're all different colors, they tell me, I can't see it, but that'll be, put them, they are separated in boxes 3.
I'll be here to help guide them through.
Okay, well, we have 4 ballot boxes. The bottom one is through a slot in the plastic bag. And I do attest that they are empty, but if you'd like to check before we start, we will do that. Okay, hearing no opposition. If you can come up.
Polls will be open at 8:05.
Yeah, post 8:05. Jerry, do you need to vote first, or we would like to? Yeah, you're going to need to do that. Do you have room to get through there?
Go for it. Not too bad. How's yourself?
All right, and now you come up if you want to vote. The A's can start coming forward. And as you get in line, ask the person in front of you if they're in your seat. See, come to line.
I'm just following you.
I think it's just gonna go.
Yeah. I thought.
Alphabetically order, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, as close to alphabetically as you can. Just kind of put yourself in between.
That's
Yeah. Ask somebody their name and they might help you. What's going on? So she was here, it was like, close, just kind of price, like $20. But yeah, no, they.
How are you?
Yes, yes.
I am barely. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, happy New Year. Oh, are we? No, I see S's and W's. There's those. All right. Get ready. Oh. Back to Florida.
I saw an H going in there.
You haven't heard anything.
You voting?
All right.
Yeah.
That's a contract.
Yeah, that is all the scanner on.
Somebody avoiding taxes.
Hello, sir.
It's funny that you end up seeing more people out here than once in a while. Uh-oh.
My camera.
They moved your camera?
Somebody did.
that your camera or your microphone? 3D.
And now that everybody on Zoom is seeing my hand.
So. I think this is here.
All right. The evening is getting serious again. Let's go. And Marty tells me she's having trouble hearing me. I don't know if it's her hearing or whether I'm not speaking. So I'm gonna say that I'm not speaking enough to be a gentleman. We are now ready. We have to keep the polls open till 5 after 9. Is that what I heard her say? Or 8 minutes after? 9:05. All right. So we can do the regular town meeting business. And we're now on Article 6, the operating budget. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the budget committee recommended sum of $5,738,134. That's a 5 with a comma, 728, comma, and 134 for the operating budget. This amount does not include any articles voted separately. The select board and the budget committee recommend this appropriation. Motion, majority vote required. May I hear a motion to accept Article 6? Jerry Palomino, seconded by Jerry Stringham. Any discussion on the budget? Any questions about the budget? Hearing nothing, are you ready to vote on Article 6? It's moved and seconded to see the town will vote to raise and appropriate the budget committee recommended sum of $5,728,134 for the operating budget. If you're in favor, then please vote. Thank you. If you are opposed to that, please raise your card. I'm seeing no opposition, Judy. Is the unanimous affirmative vote. Article 7.
Mr. Moderator,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to restrict reconsideration on Article 6.
Been moved that we restrict reconsideration. It can't happen tonight with this motion. So I will need a second for that. Ken Watson. All those in favor of restricting reconsideration, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. I hear some opposition. Thank you. Article 7, the Water Department Restricted Fund Balance. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $250,000 to be placed in the existing Water Department Capital Reserve Fund by authorizing the withdrawal of $250,000 from the Water Department Restricted Fund Balance as of December 31, 2024. The Selectmen and the Budget Committee recommend this appropriation. I hear a motion to accept Article 7. Sherry Hoover and Maureen Palomino. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none, seeing none, it's been moved and seconded to see if we'll take $250,000 to be placed in the existing Water Department Capital Reserve Fund by authorizing the withdrawal of $250,000 from the Water Department Restricted Fund Balance as of December 31. If you're in favor of the motion, please raise your card. Thank you. If you oppose, say the same thing. All right, that is a unanimous affirmative vote. Article 8, are you hearing me, Marty? Okay. Article Community Center, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $50,000 to be placed in the existing Community Center Capital Reserve Fund previously established. So it is recommended by the Select Board and Budget Committee. Now I hear a motion to accept Article 8 as I've read it. I'm gonna look for another one, Jerry. Jerry Mazzarino, and in the back, I can't see you well enough without me. Sharon Hope, okay, oh, yeah, okay, Scott, right behind you. I'm not. So, any discussion you want to make on this motion? Hearing none, it has been made, motion made and seconded to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $50,000 to be placed in the existing community center capital reserve fund previously established. If you're in favor of that, please vote with card. And if you're opposed, say no. Thank you, that is passed without opposition. Article 9, revaluation, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $25,000 to be placed in the existing revaluation capital reserve fund previously established under the provisions of RSA 35-1 to meet our constitutional and statutory requirement that assessments are full and true, which value revaluation must occur at least as often as every 5th year. The Select Board and Budget Committee recommend this appropriation. I hear a motion to accept Article 9 as separated. Okay, Mr. Young, seconded by our oldest citizen. Here, Dean Rock. Everybody coming in about 10 minutes. And I'm sorry, that's just how my brain works. It loses things. Any discussion? All right, hearing none. It has been moved and seconded to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $25,000 to be placed in the existing capital reserve fund. And if you're in favor of that, please signify by holding your card up. And if you're opposed to that, again, I see no opposition. All right. As I said, if you want to make the
Mr.
motion.
Moderator?
Yes.
Question?
Yeah.
Is it possible to make a motion that all restricting reconsideration after happen immediately after the passage of the thing, or do we have to go it?
I would prefer it to happen as we vote on each article.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to restrict reconsideration on Article 7, 8, and 9.
7, 8, and 9.
Second.
Seconded. All right.
Seconded? Lee.
Well,
Who seconded?
Lee did.
Who seconded?
Lee.
Stanley.
Stanley. All right. If you're in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye. Okay, occasionally I want to hear your voices to know you're not falling asleep on us. All right, but we'll raise the card for this one. All right, if you're opposed to reconsideration, restricted, please signify by raising your card. And I see no opposition to that. Article 10, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $75,000 to be placed in the existing paving capital reserve fund previously established. The Select Board and the Budget Committee recommend this appropriation. I hear a motion to accept Article 10. That's back in the back.
Paul Mankowski.
Okay, thank you. Should know that, shouldn't I? All right, who seconds it, please? Okay, over there, Tommy Saber. Okay, any discussion? All right, it's been moved and seconded to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $75,000 to be placed in the existing paving capital reserve fund previously established. If you're in favor of that, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. No. Chief of Police, get this, police, get this guy out of here. I can do that.
I know.
All right. I guess I can say that passed without opposition. Okay, thank you. He's better, or Judy's got to pound on. Okay, Article 11.
That's what he's about.
Highway block grant to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $26,800, $26,008, which is the anticipated grant amount this year to be placed in the existing highway block grant capital reserve fund previously established under the provisions of RSA 35-1 for the purpose of any maintenance, repair, and or improvement to class 5 roads in town, recommended by the select board and budget committee. May I hear a motion to accept Article 11? Jerry Mazzarino, seconded by Mrs. Who is that? Mrs. Say, yeah, okay. I'm sorry. Again, names are tricky for me now. So,
You're doing a great job,
say-
Ken. Jordan and Melissa.
Yeah.
You're staying warm.
Okay, doesn't matter. Any questions, comments? All right, it's been moved and seconded that the town vote and raise sum of $26,008, which is anticipated grant funding to be placed in the existing block grant capital reserve fund, which has been previously established. If you're in favor of that, please raise your cards. Thank you. If you're opposed, say no or raise your card. All right, thank you. That passes unanimously. Town building maintenance, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $45,000 to be placed in the existing town building maintenance capital reserve fund previously established. The select board and budget committee recommend this appropriation. May I hear a motion to accept Article 12? Margaret? Okay. And made the motion, and Jackie Wilson has made the second. All right, any questions, comments? It's been moved and seconded to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $45,000 to be placed in the existing town building maintenance capital reserve fund previously established. If you're in favor of doing that, please signify by voting yes. If you're opposed, please vote no. So that is a unanimous affirmative vote.
Moderator,
Yes, sir.
it's me again. I make a motion that we restrict.
Please stand up.
Thank you.
Make a motion that that man be removed. Motion that 10, 11, and 12 be restricted for reconsideration.
Thank you.
I think those are the right numbers.
All right, and a second? Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
All right, Lee, any discussion? Why we do this? Right. I'm sorry. I can see these two people because they're close, and I have trouble seeing and hearing the people further back, which is why I asked you to stand. So that's the justification for getting that these two are not standing. Please, if you're in favor of that, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And I hear opposition. One vote. Okay, where are we now? Article 13?
Yep.
Okay. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $31,000 to be placed in the existing fire department equipment capital reserve fund previously established. Select board and budget committee recommend this appropriation. I hear a motion to accept Article 13. Okay, back in the back, Sean Woods, and who's beside you? You're in the shadow with the hat. Okay, Fred Engler. Thank you, Fred. All right, anybody want to talk about this? All right, hearing none. If you want to put the $31,000 in the fire department equipment fund, please vote aye. If you oppose, please vote no. All right, thank you. It passes unanimously. Article 14, the fire truck. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $75,000 to be placed in the existing fire truck capital reserve fund previously established. Select board and budget committee recommend this. May I hear a motion to accept Article 14? All right. I see John McKay made the motion, Sean Wood seconded. Any discussion? Seeing, hearing none, it has been moved and seconded that we vote to put $75,000 in the existing fire truck capital reserve fund. Please say aye. Or nay. I hear no and see no opposition. Article 15, the library computer equipment expendable trust. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $2,000 to be placed in the existing library computer equipment expendable trust fund previously established. The select board and the budget committee recommend this appropriation. I hear a motion to accept Article 15. All right, Margaret again, and Mr. Okay. Mr. Young has seconded. Yes, please, stand, and because you're sitting in the back where I can't see you. Yeah.
Seem to always be giving $2,000 for this computer equipment. Is that ever going to stop? Is it going to just keep going? Is it just
Well, it's put in a reserve fund and then it's used every few years. But we don't know the sum of money that will be needed down the years with all the changes that are happening. And I think the town wants to make sure they have the money to make future changes. Anything not spent will be kept in the fund.
It's also used for printers and computers, but we also programming, but we, it's the select board gets the request from the trustee committee, and we really, it's governed more by the trustees than it is the select board, and we support it as our efforts of supporting the library.
And it's not just their computers, it's the computers for the community that they come in and use, and the software for that, you know.
All right. Any other questions? It has been moved and seconded to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $2,000 to be placed in the existing library computer equipment expendable trust fund. If you're in favor of doing so, please vote aye. Okay, or nay, this way. Okay, thank you. That
Mr.
passes-
Moderator?
That passes unanimously. Now,
Just wanted to say you were awesome in Oklahoma. I make a motion that we restrict reconsideration on Article 13, 14, and 15.
all right, it's been moved. Is there a second? Lee? Obedient servant. Okay. Any discussions on that again? It's been moved and seconded to see if the town will vote to restrict reconsideration of Articles 13, 14, and 15. If you're in favor of doing that, please say aye. If not, say nay. Article 16, Main Street revitalization. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $5,000 to be placed in the existing Main Street revitalization capital reserve fund previously established, recommended by the board and budget committee. And I hear a motion to accept Article 16, Sherry Hoover, and who way in the back? Kim Pickering, thank you. Any discussions, questions? Hearing none, it's been moved and seconded that we put $5,000 in the existing Main Street revitalization capital reserve fund. If you're in favor of doing so, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Okay, thank you. That passes with no opposition. Solid waste improvement, facility improvement, solid waste facility improvement. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000 to be placed in the existing solid waste facility improvement capital reserve fund previously established. The select board and the budget committee recommend this appropriation. I hear a motion to accept Article 17 as I read it. A motion, Harrington and Young, right there, misters in both of those cases. Any discussion? Hearing none. Let's see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000 to be placed in the solid waste facility improvement capital reserve fund. If you're in favor of doing so, please say aye. Aye. If you oppose, say no. Okay. Jay, you want to take over here for a few minutes?
Okay, Article 18, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $75,000 to be placed in the existing highway maintenance capital reserve fund previously established. The select board and budget committee recommend this appropriation. Do I have a motion? If you could please mention your name if I point you out, just so that we can hear that. So
Steve Town.
make a motion. Do I have a second?
Chair Lizardino.
Do we have any discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Article 19.
Mr. Moderator,
Yes,
if you please, I'd like to
Mr.
make,
Cheeseborough.
like to make a motion to restrict reconsideration on Article 16, 17, and 18.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Yes. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Article 19, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $75,000 to be placed in the existing highway heavy-duty equipment capital reserve fund previously established. The select board and the budget committee recommend this appropriation. See a motion to accept this. Sharon Hope, and a second. Jim Young. Is there any discussion? Sorry?
Move it.
Move it? All those in favor? Any opposed? That motion carries. Article 20, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $75,000 to be placed in the existing sewer department capital reserve fund previously established, with said funds to come from sewer user fees. The select board and the budget committee recommend this appropriation. Do I hear a motion to accept this? Sarah Tower, second? Is there any discussion on Article 20? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Article 21. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $170,000 to be placed in the existing water department capital reserve fund previously established, with said funds to come from water user fees. The select board and the budget committee recommend this appropriation. Do I hear a motion to accept Article 21? Ken? I can see that from here. You're right. Yes, Margaret Labarge. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Article 21 passes. Article 22, record preservation. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000.
Moderator,
Yes, sir.
please, I'd like to make a motion to restrict reconsideration on Articles 19, 20, and 21.
Mr. Cheeseborough, is there a second? Me? Any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Was that back at record preservation? 22. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000 to be placed in the existing record preservation capital reserve fund previously established. The select board and the budget committee recommend this appropriation. Do I hear a motion to accept Article 22?
Mark Harrington.
Mark Arrington, second. Janet Adams. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And yes, sir.
Where are you keeping these records now?
Anyone? speak
No
to that?
firehouses.
I had, no,
in the
they're,
bottom.
they're in my safe and down at the archive building in New Hampshire, so they get preserved in a book, and then they get microfilmed, and they get sent down to the archives. So if anything was that were happening to our building, they're down there.
So remind me, do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Yeah.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion. Article 22 accepted, carries. Article 23, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $28,000 to be placed in the existing police department equipment capital reserve fund previously established. The select board and budget committee recommend this appropriation. Do I hear a motion to accept Article 23? Susan? Susan Young, second.
Steve Town.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Article 23 carries. Article 24, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $5,000 to be placed in the existing cemetery maintenance capital reserve fund previously established by the select board and budget committee. The select board and budget committee recommend this appropriation. Do I have a motion to accept Article 24? Yes, back there.
Tony Galvasio.
Tony, do I see a second? Nancy?
Yep.
Okay. And all those in favor? Oh, do I have any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Article 25.
Moderator,
Yes, Mr. Cheeseborough,
How are you feeling this evening?
I'm feeling great, you, sir?
I'd like to make a motion to restrict reconsideration on Article 22, 23, and 24.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Move it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Article 25, Emergency Management. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000 of $2,000 to be placed in the existing Emergency Management Capital Reserve Fund previously established. The Select Board and Budget Committee recommend this appropriation. Do I hear a motion to accept Article 25? Mr. Saborn, second. Mr. Bankowski. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Article 25, motion carries. Article 26, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $54,800 to be placed in the existing computer software capital reserve fund previously established. The Select Board and the Budget Committee recommend this appropriation. Do I hear a motion to accept Article 26? Second? Any discussion on Article 26? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those, any opposed? Article 26 carries.
Mr. Moderator,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to restrict reconsideration on Article 25 and 26.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Mr. Freeman? Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion for Article 26 carries. He's back.
If I can get up this. Any other business there's, that may legally come before this meeting? If it involves, yes, Mr. Young. What? For what?
One second.
To open this up. I need a motion to open discussion about any other business, I'm being told. Mrs. Young, Mr. Mazzarandino. Okay, now, Jim.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
It's not your fault, I'm just being
I know, it's
watched.
50 years ago.
Yeah,
The term being paid for by use of fees is some of the terminology here. And in some places, it's not, like those first three passages. Is there any way we can possibly, in the future, next year, put that term in? It makes it so much clearer to understand how it's getting paid. Thank you.
it's being played by the users of
Yeah,
those.
use the fees.
And the people who have water and sewer, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, so any other business? I always like to remind us, okay, Sharon,
Don't forget, this coming Tuesday is the annual school meeting, and we need voters out there. They're spending a lot of money, and we ought to all have a say in it. Thank you.
hey, yes, sir, John,
Just a couple quick questions.
okay, now talk a little louder, I've got hearing aids.
Page 45. Last paragraph. Friendly reminders, the select board meets every other Tuesday at 5. Why is there one at 5, following one at 8:30?
What's that? You mean the schedule that's posted right now? Or you're just asking in general, why are
Just
we?
in general, it says here you meet every other Tuesday at 5. Occasion meeting one at 5, 8:30. So why don't you have two, like it says, at 5?
We do. It's every other, so if there's 4 Tuesdays in a month, we have one in the morning, the next week will be at night, the next will be in the morning, and the next will be at night. And so it's a rotating schedule. Yeah. That's how we've been doing it. So I'm not sure, is it, maybe the language is written in here, but that's wrong, but that's how we've been doing it. Tonight is considered, as always, our evening meeting.
Yeah.
Every other Tuesday. Oh, I get what you're saying. So if we meet the first Tuesday in the morning, the third Tuesday will be in the evening. And then the following week after that would be in the morning, and then it would be in the evening.
All right.
I didn't mean, sorry. Yeah.
When you bought Avery's property, with Ryan stuff, in there, that pamphlet you sent out, you said with the sale of the old town garage and the fire station, that money would be put to offset the line of that garage. Did that happen?
Yeah.
So that
It went into a, sorry.
It didn't go general fund.
No, it went into its own reserve account, and every year, so when that bond payment comes up, it's paid with that money. Yep.
Also, when you set out the pamphlet, there was nothing in there about needing a sand consumption. And I would get my lunch, they do need it. I'm curious, how much did that cost? And where did that come
I
I don't know that
did.
off the top of my head, but I can tell you the planning of
So
that.
somebody stand up and talk to
The
us.
planning went back to Jimmy Fadden's days when it was going, they started incorporating money into the highway maintenance capital reserve.
Right.
I don't have the exact figure with me.
We don't have the exact figure on us, but part of that was paid for by ARPA money.
Yep.
And part of it was paid for through capital reserve. Yep.
Okay, anybody else have anything they want to talk about?
Yes,
Okay,
I do. Let me get my notes.
Don't really.
No. Stop. No, we want
We
to,
have
just,
to,
we're
I
starting a
guess.
little bit of a new
We have to
tradition.
sell
I'll speak quick.
okay.
So, just a little bit of a new tradition, kind of recognizing what some of our departments do throughout the year that may not go recognized sometimes or gets missed. So first up, the select board would like to thank or take a moment to recognize the extraordinary efforts of our fire department. We extended our sincere appreciation to the entire Woodstock Fire Department for their pivotal role in battling the devastating fire at 121 Main Street in Lincoln back in April of 2024. Special recognition goes to our fire department's leaders for their exceptional leadership during that challenging response. Their guidance, along with the seamless collaboration between the Woodstock and Lincoln fire departments and many other mutual aid departments, was critical in managing that intense fire, which deeply impacted several members of our community. So thank you. Additionally, we're very proud, and the department is very proud, to congratulate firefighter Dylan Russell for successfully completing his firefighter 1 and 2 training and earning his FF2 certification. These accomplishments serve as a testament to the dedication, skill, and professionalism of our fire department. The select board would like to recognize the exceptional efforts of the Woodstock Police Department. Last February, the department underwent an audit by the Police Standards and Training, where it was praised for its exemplary record-keeping and well-documented training files, achieving full compliance. The department's records were noted as an excellent example of how such records should be maintained, and the Lieutenant Proto remarked that it was one of the best they had seen. Additionally, Officer Vale was commended for her swift and professional response in April when she assisted a victim suffering from third-degree burns following the fire at their residence. Her quick actions were critical in providing immediate care during a critical situation. Additionally, in June, Officer Vale was recognized for her exceptional handling of a motor vehicle accident, where she ensured that the victims, along with their pets, were safely returned home after their car was rendered inoperable. Her dedication to both the community and her role exemplifies the highest standards of service.
Nobody can see you in that corner. You might not even know she's a policeman. Okay, thank you. That's.
In June, Attorney Loxton recognized Officer Abel after reviewing body cam footage from a DWI investigation, praising him for his decency and professionalism. Detective Rico was commended by the Garneau family for his heroic actions following a motorcycle accident in June, where his quick administration of CPR helped sustain the victim's pulse before the transport to the hospital. In December, Lieutenant Chenard. In December, Lieutenant Chenard received a letter of appreciation from the Police Standards and Training for his contributions and training in the 198th Recruit Academy class. So, thank you for the Over the past couple of years, Mike Welch, Judy Welch, and Selectman Rice have worked hard to secure and administer thousands of dollars in grants to address water and wastewater infrastructure and security. In recognition of the town's ongoing efforts and achievements in these initiatives, both Mike and Judy were honored with the Challenge Points from New Hampshire DES and Overwater for their leadership and commitment to advancing these critical projects. These awards reflect the dedication of our team to protecting the community's resources while fostering a forward-thinking approach in infrastructure management. Through these partnerships and initiatives, we continuously build relationships and working to improve the quality, security, and sustainability of the town's water, sewer, and stormwater systems. The Select Board would also like to extend its gratitude to our emergency service partners, including the fire, EMS, police, dispatchers, and public works department, whose combined efforts ensure a comprehensive and effective emergency response day or night. And as always, the Select Board would like to recognize all of our department heads and their teams for their unwavering hard work and dedication day in and day out. While it's not always easy, each of you approaches your jobs with pride and ensures that the best job gets done. We do also like to extend our sincere gratitude to our volunteers and elected officials for their ongoing dedication to the community, and recognize Ellen Jones for her years of dedication as supervisor of the checklist. Emily.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, we don't recognize the people who work behind the scenes, like supervisors, and it's a very detailed job, and anybody who deserves it, Barbara, Helen, yeah,
and Kathy.
yeah, I mean, it's just, we couldn't handle the elections without them.
I'd also like to thank Emily Clark and Stephen Tower for their years of commitment to the Budget Committee. And Christina Payne for her valuable time and service on the Planning Board. Really do truly appreciate the time that everyone provides and gives to our community and the town.
All right. First of all, I will say, is there anybody who hasn't voted on which articles? 3, 4, and 5. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Because I declare that the polls are closed. But before we stop everything, I'd like to bring up under other business the town report. Dr. Felgate, who was a resident of Woodstock for 45 years or so, retired, leaving us. We really know how much he meant to us now that he's left us. But the town recognizes him with the dedication of his yearbook and photos and of his 27 children and grandchildren. There and the thing, and at a retirement party for him, the town presented him with a rocket ship. With this dedication, thank you for your years of dedicated service to the Lincoln Woodstock community from April 1973 to December 2024. Your service has made a lasting impact, and we are very grateful for your unwavering commitment. Wishing you the best as you embark on your well-earned retirement, the town of Woodstock. And now I'd like to bring up the backside of the report and the things that have happened to our people. The recent resident birth report from 1/21/24 to 12/31/24 shows only one child being born, but we feel that's because of how that when babies are born in the hospital, they have a form and they have to check if they want that information to go into the town report. And nurses tend to overlook little details like that. So if there are more, and we think there are, we didn't have their permission to tell you about their children. Knowing, you know, it's in this cautious world, that's probably not a bad idea. We did have a bunch of people get married, and this year they're listed there, the bride and groom, and then the people who've died from our community. One of the ones who missed being in here, I don't know if you know why exactly. It's the same thing. Records, but in addition to the people listed, Donnie Ayotte, who was always here, his family, I remember his father sitting over there, the theater seat, right under that window. Mr. Moderator, and standing up at town meeting. I also remember Fred Lee, Fred Brown, Anna Marie Malloy, characters all, and they would like them to end up on this page, but not too soon, so that we can honor them this way. And you may not know Charlie Harrington, who our barber, has been a barber for many years, died yesterday. He's had multiple problems since he retired, but his wife was here earlier today, and Jay was able to speak with her. So if you see her, I think you'll be fine to express your concern. All right, any other things that you'd like to bring before this meeting? All right, hearing none, it's time now to see if Articles 2, 3, 4, and 5 have passed. We'll count them with a simple yes, no vote on all of them. They should go very quickly. So just if you don't care about getting the results, you're welcome to lose. Yeah.
I had it in mind, just.
Well, that's all your fault. Before they did all the accident, did all the
Thank you. Take care of yourself. I'll see you at the post office. Take care of yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Scott? I'm talking. All right, here are the votes on the warrant voting Article 3. Passed 72-5, that's with a 93.5% passage rate, so that has passed. Yes, what?
Which article, please?
That was Article 2. That was the, oh, I'm sorry, that's Article 3, excuse me. I can't put them in order, okay. Article 3 has 72, that's 93.5%. So Article 3 has passed. Article 4 is a rate passed by 97%, 75 to 2 no votes. Article 2, well, I sure didn't put it in order. This is the fire department rescue vehicle. There were 70 yes votes and 8 no votes for an 89.7%, and it has passed. And Article 5 for sewer collection assessment and the proposed CCTV inspection, and that passed 76 to 2, and that passed with a 97.4 vote. So I announce all things. I have just one more thing. I thought I can't resign officially, but in case you have a question, I will not be doing this job again. I hope some way the thing is, but the assistant moderator that was appointed by the supervisor of the checklist had appointed Jay Palomino. And Jay, I need to give you something. Plus, he's appointed the full-time moderator of this year, after this vacancy I'm creating. His next meeting will be 2026. So we have an election for moderator. I hope his name is on the ballot, so I can vote for him. Now, this gavel, some of you don't know its story, but when I became moderator, I received a package in the mail in the early or late 70s, I guess it must have been. And with it was a note from a man named Sawyer, who said he was the moderator in the 40s. And he had been carrying this around, and he was 92, and he only lived another year. Lorna Colhern did at least one article on this thing for the Union Leader. I stick it in my closet. I don't know if we should have this in the office on display during the year and then use it, bring it up for the moderating thing. But it's supposedly made from the Matthew Thornton elm tree that fell. Matthew Thornton, as you may remember, was a signer of the Declaration of Independence. So it is, if that's true, when Lorna wrote her question, she could find no verification for that story. I told her I wasn't smart enough to create that story, but Jay, this is. Again, I am overwhelmed. What happened to me, I can't believe. The governor was sitting in Gil's chair, or Gil sitting in the governor's chair, and Secretary of State, and all the other dignitaries there. I appreciate all the effort that went into making that happen, and I thank you for the kindness and the support of all the many votes that you've given me over the last 50 years. Managed to make it this far without completely falling apart. Don't push me. All right, now Judy and I have to stay here about an hour and sign these. That's why I have to stay.